Are you standing in the way of your next miracle? Reverend Samuel Rodriguez is here to tell us how to get out of the way. Plus, Ephraim Graham reveals this week's top 5 stories from the entertainment world on today's 700 Club Interactive. Well, welcome to the show. Here's Ephraim Graham with this week's top 5 from Studio 5.
At number 5.
Just believe that it's already done.
Sunday mornings with Kanye West are still going strong.
Sunday service kicked off in January of this year. Every week, Kanye performs alongside a gospel choir and live band. He even delivers a sermon and has a guest sermon as well.
But the first formal sermon only just recently happened.
Someone say, check your circle.
With longtime Kardashian family friend and pastor Rich Wilkerson Jr. paying a visit to the growing gathering.
I don't know what the rest of the week looked like, but today, on this Sunday, you're in a place full of grace, and you're in a place full of faith, and you're connected to something bigger. But here's Jesus with his circle. And when they should be comforting him, notice what he's doing. He's comforting them.
At number 4. Next to this famous movie line,
my name is Bond.
Bond. It's Bond. Bond.
It's Bond.
It's Bond. James Bond.
Is this famous movie ride. And now,
you may never play James Bond in the movies, but you can own his car. The Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger and other films is going on the auction block, complete with working gadgets, including a switch that flips the license plate from British to French to Swiss, and a bulletproof shield. Sotheby's expects the Aston Martin to sell for between $4 and $6 million when it hits the block next month.
At number 3.
How much time? You got to be miles away from here for dawn.
This photograph of Harriet Tubman praying is a powerful hint of what we can expect from the film Harriet.
God don't mean people to own people. I would give every last drop of blood in my veins until this monster called slavery is dead.
The extraordinary tale of Harriet Tubman's escape from slavery and transformation into an American hero hits theaters in November. But here's a Studio 5 sneak peek.
Fear is your enemy. Whoa, easy now.
I'm gonna be free or die.
I don't know if you know how extraordinary this is, but you have made it 100 miles to freedom all by yourself. Would you like to pick a new name to mark your freedom?
Harriet Tubman, you are welcome here anytime. If I'm free, my family should be too. I made up my mind, I'm going back.
At number 2.
It's not a hole too deep, because love is not deeper still.
That's Kirk Franklin on stage. But who should play the music man in his new biopic?
Yeah, we're trying to get Emmanuel Lewis to play me from Webster.
Okay.
No, I'm being funny.
I was gonna say,
hey! There's been talk of a Kirk Franklin film for quite a few years.
John Singleton came up to me at an award show and said, and several years ago, he said, "You know who told me to do a movie on your life?" He said, Prince.
Wow.
Told me I need to do a movie in your life. Like, no cap. That happened to me.
Wow. But talk turned into filmmaking when Sony and movie maker Devon Franklin signed on, recently breaking the news on social media.
We about to change the game. This brother has allowed me to produce a movie on his life. Woo! Thank you, man.
They are finishing up the script now.
Okay.
And I think that the script kind of, dictates at what era. Now, of course, I can't play, as little as I am, I can't play Lil Kirk.
At number 1. Canada. Rapper Lecrae captures the attention of fans with his music.
Joked about your 1 million followers on Instagram, but I imagine you take even that platform seriously in terms of pouring into people.
Absolutely. I think, obviously no one's gonna do it perfectly, but there's a sense of trying to steward that well.
Most recently posting this picture with Chance the Rapper and his mom, along with an uplifting message for those feeling discouraged and falling away from their faith. He writes, "Some feel strongly about faith not being legitimate. I want you to know I love you all. I'm glad you're here. I have zero desire to condemn and 100% desire to show you love." He goes on to say, "I just want to encourage anyone out there wrestling that God knows your situation. He knows your pain and that your life isn't perfect, but he hasn't given up on you. It's all part of a greater story.
Any opportunity to get involved with something where we're continuing that journey of pouring ourselves into others and also encouraging them to pour themselves into others is something that is extremely important, and I need to be involved in.
Well, Ephraim joins us now, and I don't care about anything else. James Bond's car is coming up. Are you bidding?
No, I'll leave that to you. No bidding for me. That's exciting to see. No, I can imagine.
You don't have a car museum?
No.
You put it up on a pedestal, have it rotate, and put the bulletproof window.
No, my wife would say I don't keep the garage clean enough to put her car in it, so I certainly don't need another car.
You're not going to bid?
No.
All right.
But
you don't want an Aston Martin?
No.
You're just going to stick with that Vespa?
Yeah, that's enough. And my little bug, that's it. Good for me.
Okay.
That'll work. Gets me here
just
every day.
Transportation.
Yes.
Not a statement.
Yes.
I'll let my clothes do the talking.
There you go. No repairs needed.
Every once in a while. Maybe you just don't keep them that long.
Yes, true.
All right, let's get serious. Lecrae.
Yes.
What's going on?
It's a beautiful thing that he did. He opened up and shared with people that, he was once an atheist, he was once an agnostic, because naturally he checks the pulse of his fans and he sees that people are struggling. And that if we're honest with ourselves, no matter how strong we are in our faith, there are moments where we all have doubts and question what's happening in our lives. And he was transparent about that.
Does there seem to be a rise in that?
I think there is. I mean, there is, especially among younger generation who grew up with it, and now, kind of, you got to stand on your own.
I remember a wave back in the 1960s and 70s, and it just seems to, and then in the 80s, people said, no, I'm going back to church. And then we're into another wave.
Yeah, but
is there any reason why, or is there?
I would assume it's just the changing time and the way we live now. I mean, we're living in an age where we are probably more connected than we ever were, but still even more disconnected than we ever were, because it's not really human connection. And then we project these lives that people take as real, not realizing that a lot of the lives that people are putting out there, you're only seeing one side of it. You're not seeing their struggles. You're not seeing the difficulty. You're not even seeing the number of times it took for them to get that picture perfect before they post it. So you're measuring yourself up against that reality, and then you're questioning, well, wait a minute, where's the God for me? How is this happening for them and not for me?
Well, I think another part of it is I think social media is trying to engineer an argument and really trying to drive us apart.
Yeah.
And faith really works better in a community. Faith on your own tends to get harder. I mean, we all have our desert experiences. We all have our personal encounters. You have to have that, I think, to really believe. But at the same time, to get nurtured and grow in faith, you really need community.
100%.
And if you're getting divided all the time, or you're saying, I'm too busy for church, then, yeah, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah, technology gives us a lot of excuses to not connect, and we need to do more of it.
Okay, let's talk about Kirk Franklin, who's coming out with a movie.
Yes.
And he seems to constantly be surrounded by community.
Yes, indeed.
He's like the only guy I know that travels with a choir.
Yeah, and he knows the importance of that, I mean, with mentors and everything in his life. As he said there, people have been pursuing him to do a film for a long time. John Singleton has passed, Prince has passed, and you hear him mention those people as influencers who wanted to see a movie about his life. He's lived a life that certainly is worth a movie. I mean, if you can read about his childhood, you can hear him testimony of his childhood, separated from his mom, grandmother raising him, abandoned by your mom. Literally, he reconnects with his dad as an adult just a couple of years ago, as his dad is about to die. He's got a sister who's gone to jail a couple of times. He struggled with the church, knowing that there was a call on his life, but running away from that call, not feeling it was cool to be a choir boy, a church boy. So all those kinds of struggles. So it'll be interesting to see what phase of his life they choose to focus on and how they put it together, because it's a very layered life that he's lived.
Well, I remember the first time he ever appeared on the 700 Club, and I'm just going, wow, what an incredible story here. That against all odds, here he is singing praise and worship.
Absolutely.
And you just sort of step back and go, wow, God, you're doing something pretty incredible here. So.
Indeed. I mean, and his music has certainly bore that out, because his music comes from a very real place, and you can feel it and hear it in the lyrics too.
All right, Harriet Tubman, the movie.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. I will see it in October. 1 month before it comes out, they're doing a premiere at the African American History Museum. Now, I have asked producers that I've been able to talk to about the honesty about her faith, because if you read about Harriet Tubman, she talks about getting, premonitions and visions from God in terms of what led and guided her to do what she did. And
well, in many ways, such a miraculous journey.
Yes, it is. And she gave credit to it.
That she got through, and, but God.
Yes. I mean, and she gets free, and I want to say went back 12 to 13 more times to free other people. And they tell me that the faith story is going to be there, that I will see that they're not running away from that. They recognize how important that was to the story. So
it's essential. I don't think you can tell the story with
Not at all. Not at all.
Do you think she gets her due?
I don't. I think it's been a long time. Even the actress who portrays her said that when, she got the role, she was surprised to learn that there hadn't been a film done, that the story hadn't been told. And she's actually an actress from the UK who's certainly familiar with Harriet Tubman, but she was surprised that there had not been a bigger to-do about her before now.
And I'm surprised at that. I mean, you talk about a life that should be celebrated. Hers is a life to be celebrated.
Absolutely.
And the fact that she literally was guided makes it even,
absolutely.
It's biblical.
Yes, yes.
You look at her life and go, okay, there is a God.
Yeah, she's nicknamed Moses for a reason, indeed.
And I just keep wondering why.
Yeah, I
why
have no
as
idea.
a culture, why we're not saying here's a way for us to, particularly in our turbulent times today, to say here's someone we can follow.
Absolutely.
Here's someone who,
Yeah, that's one of the many reasons I'm looking forward to this, and I think and pray that it will also lead people to not just see the movie, but to do more research and to learn more about her and the life that she lived. I think it'll be a great thing for us to see.
Okay, Kanye's still doing Sunday morning?
He is still doing Sunday morning. When he initially began this back in January, he and his wife made a point to say that this is not church. It's just a spiritual experience. But I want to say,
it's starting to get real regular.
I saw the sermon from Pastor Rich Wilkerson, and it was indeed church. He talked about Christ. He talked about the death, the resurrection. There was no denying that this was a preacher preaching the gospel to these people, and they responded. So they can say that it's not church if they want, but it's feeling a lot like it. Yeah.
Well, all right. How about the assembly? We'll go back to the original Greek, the ecclesia, the assembly. And, yeah. Whenever two or more are gathered together in my name, there I am.
There he is.
All right. And if you want to get gathered together with Ephraim, all you have to do is check out his weekly show, Studio 5. You can watch it on the CBN News Channel or online at cbn.com/Studio5. Up next, the Australian who's known as the hottest Christian children entertainer in the world. Well, he talks about his favorite cartoon.
Kids are captivated by things that are entertaining, and that's what I love about Superbook. It's visually engaging, but also presents great truth.
See how Sean W. Smith is using Superbook to tell the stories of the Bible to 500,000 children worldwide. Well, you may not be familiar with Sean W. Smith, but 500,000 children worldwide know exactly who he is. Sean specializes in connecting children with the Bible in entertaining ways that captivate their interest. And recently, he's been using CBN's Superbook to help him do just that.
Sean W. Smith is an internationally acclaimed speaker and musician from Australia who's been called the hottest Christian children's entertainer in the world.
Working with children is wonderful. They've got joy. They're full of hope. I can see why Jesus said, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven unless You think like a child. You've got the heart of a child where you're willing to just believe.
Last year, this world-renowned entertainer began including excerpts from CBN's Superbook in his appearances.
I just love Superbook for my kids and our family. And so I want to show you a little clip of Superbook up on the screen.
Hi, we're back. Kids are captivated by things that are entertaining, and that's what I love about Superbook. It's visually engaging, but also presents great truth. It doesn't just present the Bible story, but it presents the practical application with Chris and Joy. How does this outwork in my day-to-day life? And kids learning the heart of generosity through episodes of Superbook, learning courage, learning to stand up for what's right. I think that's the power of Superbook. It readies your kids to be battle ready for life.
In fact, Sean gives out free Superbook DVDs at his appearances.
I'm not sponsored by Superbook. I just love it. Everywhere I go, I will tell people, if you don't have Superbook, you need to go check it out.
Sean says now is the time to tell the world about Jesus, and he's thankful that Superbook is helping him do just that.
I definitely believe that children can be led to Christ through Superbook. We did a couple of big outreaches, and we went into many public schools, and we had hundreds and hundreds of families come, and we were able to give every family that made a decision to say yes to Jesus, to give them a copy of Superbook. I want to thank the partners of Superbook for investing. Thank you for all the people that work hard. Thank you for the people that have a spirit of excellence. We appreciate you, and we look forward to being able to help make Superbook famous all over this earth.
If you want to help make Superbook famous, all you have to do is join with us and say, I want to be a part of it. Your gift goes into the production costs, the translation costs, the distribution costs to make Superbook, make the stories of the Bible famous to this generation of children that are growing up. We're in now over 50 languages. It's incredible what's happening around the world because these stories from the Bible, God's Word never returns void. They're changing lives, they're changing families, and we're now in over 50 languages, and you can be a part of all of it. How? Give us a call. 1-800-700-7000. Say, I want to join the Superbook Club. Well, for a gift of $25 or more, we'll send you 3 copies of the latest episode, which is the story of Philip. It's all available for you. All you have to do is call us, 1-800-700-7000, or you can go to cbn.com. Well, coming up, he's been called one of the top 100 Christian influencers in America. Reverend Samuel Rodriguez joins us next. Don't go away. Well, Presidents Bush, Obama, and Trump have all sought wisdom from our next guest. Reverend Samuel Rodriguez says many of us could be standing in the way of our next miracle. Take a look.
Reverend Samuel Rodriguez has been called the leader of the Latino evangelical movement and has been named one of the top 100 Christian leaders in America by Newsmax.
You are not defined by what surrounds you. You are defined by God's Spirit inside of you.
Reverend Rodriguez says we might be standing in the way of our next miracle. In his book, You Are Next, he shares what we need to do to get out of the way.
Well, welcome to 700 Club Interactive. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
There aren't many people I talk to that are welcome in the Obama White House and also welcome in the Trump White House. How in the world did you do that?
By the grace of God. 1 Corinthians 15:10. No, seriously, by the grace of God. I can't explain it. We're there, and we just want to speak truth to power with grace and humility and see God show up.
Okay. You have any solution for the rest of us? Because it seems like the divide is so big that it's like you can't cross it. And one of the things I've observed is when you try to cross it, then the people you think are your friends start saying you're a traitor or you've gone against principle.
Right. We're never going to sacrifice principle. There are some absolutes. I mean, I am 125% staunchly pro-life. In and out of the womb, the sanctity of life. I'm going to champion religious liberty, and I'm going to do biblical justice. That's biblical, not social justice. Biblical justice in the name of Jesus for the rest of my life. These are my 3 core principles. So when I meet with the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and I meet with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, it's the same agenda. It never changes. And I think they appreciate that sort of integrity and continuity.
How can Christians, because I actually think Christians are uniquely equipped to bridge the gap.
We're the reconcilers. Yeah, that's who we are. We should be.
But give us a game plan. What should we do in order to cross? I think we got to bring us together because it seems like the polarization is getting more extreme.
It's going to seem a little bit counterintuitive politically, but you can't drink the ideological Kool-Aid. If you wake up in the morning and you're a Democrat first and foremost, you have issues. You need therapy. If you wake up in the morning and you're first and foremost a Republican, you have issues. You need therapy. I wake up in the morning. I'm a born-again Christian. I'm a Lamb's Agenda guy, man. I'm not donkey obsessed or elephant obsessed. However, it does require me as a citizen of the United States of America to vote a biblical worldview. So I'm not sacrificing our biblical values on the altar of expediency. Psalm 89:14 is the answer to what you just asked. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Love and truth lead the way as attendants. That should be the Christian's agenda. We should be the reconcilers. We should be bringing America together. But the moment we, dive into and drink the Kool-Aid and embrace the hype, we're going to exacerbate the divide.
Okay. Well, let's go to the hard place.
Okay.
Let's go to the border of Mexico today. If you're a Democrat and you go observe, then the Trump administration is making children sit in their own waste, and
not true. Not true.
We're separating families, we're violating judicial orders, all of that. If you're a Republican, you go and you say our border agents are sacrificing themselves, they're taking from their own families in order to provide for these families.
True.
How do we reconcile the different views?
Those that know me know that I've been championing for immigration reform since the Bush administration. And championing, I do believe in the sovereignty of America. I don't believe in open borders. Matter of fact, we need to stop all illegal immigration. I support a virtual wall. I support people coming here legally. We must stop illegal immigration, period. This idea of open borders now in the primaries?
Well, I'll take you just to last night's the Democrat debate where it was, let's get rid of the concept of illegal immigration.
See, that's crazy. That's just chaotic. There's a lack of a logical continuum, right? That's just incoherent logically. Intellectually speaking, what are we going to do? Open the border for 150 million people to come in? That's a number that's been projected that would actually come in if we would open the borders immediately, meaning in a matter of 24 months. That's just crazy.
I don't think that's out of range. I'm actually of the view the current publicity about the border
is actually attracting people to the border.
It's attracting people from 40 different nations.
Sure, but there's a happy medium. So we stop illegal immigration, but we continue to provide a refugee sort of safe haven for those that are legitimately, fleeing persecution and prosecution. There are Christian people in nations that are being persecuted as we speak, not just Christians, but others, that this nation should continue to live up to the adage on the Statue of Liberty. So I do believe in stopping illegal immigration, but continuing to demonstrate compassion. As it pertains to the border, I've been there. I was there. I vetted the place. I had full access. Nothing was restricted to me. And I can tell you the Border Patrol agents are actually God-fearing individuals who love America, who are helping out. By the way, the vast majority are of Latino descent. How about that? What is this, a brand new Latino KKK vestige now? There's a new group? You got to be kidding me. No, they attend our churches. I mean that. They attend our churches. I interviewed them. And they love Jesus, love their families, and it's just a difficult circumstance. Now, it's not utopia. It's a difficult circumstance, especially when the numbers were out there. It's difficult. They are crowded. They don't have all the resourcing they need. So it's difficult, but they're doing the best they can with the best spirit they could possibly display.
Do you think the humanitarian situation is going to change with the spending bill that was just passed, $4.5 billion, $5 billion going?
It helped. It actually did help. And again, I'm being fair now. There you have to give some, an applause to the Speaker of the House who worked with the President of the United States. There were others in her party, names I will not mention, who opposed it. Just, a very limited, very extreme group. And they opposed that piece of legislation, which to me is like, I don't get you. You go to the border, you have your own narrative of what you saw, yet you don't want to fund a solution. It's a crazy world out there, man.
All right, well, let's put you in charge. What would you do if you were in charge? What kind of legislation should we have? What kind of rules should we have? And what should we be doing with the migrants who are there?
I have the solution. And I have the solution for the whole comprehensive part and the current reality, both. The comprehensive part. Build a virtual wall. and put the concrete in there, cement, whatever you want to use, but in satellite imaging, infrared technology, let's do that. Build a virtual wall. Stop all illegal immigration. Listen, you and I both know we could read a license plate from miles away in Afghanistan, so we can detect 150 people with backpacks crossing the Rio Grande. So yeah, let's just stop that. We can stop illegal immigration. Let's do that. Number two, those that are currently here undocumented, let's just take out the weed. The weed meaning those that are involved in nefarious activities. Crank bangbangers, criminals, pedophiles, the criminals on steroids, boom, take them out of the country, deport them, indeed. The 98.9% that are left that are hardworking, that have been here for years, their kids were raised here it is. Let's not grant them citizenship to these parents. No citizenship.
That's tough.
I'll give you a green card. You came in here illegally, you have to pay a price coming here illegally. See, this takes away the anxiety from the Republicans who think we are legalizing 11 to 20 million new Democratic voters. That's the anxiety. It's all political. I've been there in these discussions. I know this firsthand. Let's do away with the anxiety. Give them green cards. You work here. You're not living off welfare entitlements now. Work here, but your children should become citizens. They should never pay for the sins of their parents.
You heard it here. There's the solution, and he's got a book. It's called You Are Next. It's available nationwide. Thanks. That's a good solution. All right. Here's from Psalms. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him. God bless you. We'll see you again.